Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this HP laptop model 17-CP0035CL. It's right there. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is undo all the screws from the bottom. Most likely all of them are going to be PH1 or JS1. We're going to remove the rubber foot here, so I just use my fingernail and then peel this up. You can also use plastic pry tools, obviously. Okay, it looks like some of the screws are already kind of falling out, so make sure you don't lose those. Alright, the customer said their computer's running really slow, so I actually cloned the hard drive to an SSD already. We're going to install that into here, and then we're just going to boot it up, and it should be good to go. Alright, as you can see, there are 4 screws, if I didn't already mention. Then we got 2 here, and then I believe we have 1 under each side of this rubber piece here. Okay, if this video helps you out, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Alright, if you can't help out that way, it would help a lot if you could watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those as well, because that's what the algorithm likes to see. And in the long run, obviously, it helps me a lot as well. Alright, so we're going to continue getting these screws that were hidden under here. There's one there, and then pretty sure there's one more under here. Alright, I might have a customer here. I might have to go in a bit, but let's see. Alright, so we got all the screws out. Hopefully there's no other ones hidden here. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to carefully open this up, and then you can see there's this gap between the palm rest and the bottom cover. So what I do is I get my fingernails in that little gap, and then I'll push with my thumb on the back. So we'll go like that. And hopefully, yep, there you go, we can pop the clips out. So we're just going to go all the way around. Obviously, again, you can use plastic pry tools, but I find this works best. Okay, we're going to go on this side as well. Same thing. Go ahead and pull on that. All right, and then we're going to go on this side. All right, and we're just going all the way around, pop all the clips. We're going to go around the corners here, and we'll go around these corners as well. Then we have this. What we're going to do, we're going to kind of lift this a bit, and we're going to kind of wiggle this. All right, so this side's kind of being a pain here. Oh, there we go. Actually, it popped out after kind of pulling up on this. I thought it was going to be difficult. Anyways, there you go. We got the bottom cover off. All right, so next thing we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and replace the hard drive. You can see the battery in here. I'm going to show the internal components, but I'm not going to replace all of them. You can see on some models, I guess they would have a second fan, 2 fan connection here, but this one only has 1, and that's because there's no dedicated graphics. It's just the built-in CPU there soldered to the motherboard. You have the LCD LVDS connector here. If you're going to mess with this, make sure you remove the battery first and then press and hold open the laptop, press and hold the power button at least 15 seconds. That's very important. Right? If you don't do that, you can cause permanent damage, frying your computer. You can fry the backlight circuit. You can fry this cable, this connector here. You can damage your screen. So take those extra seconds, remove the battery here. Battery model number is HW03XL. To remove it, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 screws only. Right? Once you remove all those 4 screws, you can actually go under here and then you pull the battery up. This one, it like slides down. So there's these little fins that stick out, and it basically just goes in between and wedges in like that. So it kind of just wedges like that. And then when you take it out, you're basically sliding it up like that. Okay, so that's the battery model. There's the 2.5-inch SATA hard drive here that we're going to be replacing. It looks like there's no screws holding it in place. Okay, we already turned off the computer, so that's okay. If you're replacing just the battery or the RAM, you don't need to worry about disconnecting the hard drive or the RAM. You don't need to worry about taking out the battery. All right, we're gonna flip this latch up here. So let me actually zoom in. Actually, I should have done a thumbnail here real quick. So let's line this up if I didn't already. Okay, so we'll line this thing up here and we'll just get a thumbnail. All right, so yeah. All right, there we go. Let's go ahead now and remove the hard drive. So I'm going to zoom in a bit. All right, there's all these screws in the way, so it's a little bit tricky. Anyways, we're going to flip this latch up. Sorry, I put the screws too close on my desk. All right, after you flip that latch, you can pull this cable out slightly. Okay, I like to wiggle it. Be careful not to damage this cable. You don't want to poke into it or use some pliers that can pinch too hard and damage it. So there we go, we got that out. Now that we've got that, we're gonna have to lift the hard drive up. So this design, let's see here. I believe we're gonna lift from this side. Let me actually move the screws over a little so I can show you better here. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. There you go. Okay, so let's see. I would usually probably grab here, and oh, you can see it lifts up actually easily. So there you go. You lift that up, and then we can go ahead and slide this out, and it's all just held in or wedged in with that rubber. Okay, so it looks like this cable is kind of attached to the plastic here, so you want to be careful peeling this away. I'm going to try and carefully peel this. I'm trying to keep the cable as flat as possible by pulling it at the same time as peeling up. There we go. And now we disconnected that. So here you can see this cable. You want to be careful. You don't want to just pull on this because a lot of times you can separate this into two pieces. So what I do is I pull it slightly. I don't know if you can see that, but a gap is forming there. And then I'll usually get my fingernail in the wedge. You can use obviously plastic pry tools, but I'll get my fingernail in there. You can see, and I can help push that out more. Okay, and then once you get it pushed out far enough, it's a lot easier to remove this. Okay, so we're gonna wiggle and pull that. We have the replacement hard drive or SSD. They are just using a 480 gig SSD. You can upgrade to larger if you want. Also, I just realized that this has an M.2 PCIe NVMe slot here. So if you want, you can get an M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD, which are a lot faster. They have faster ones, and then there's the screw there. It came with one. It kind of goes in at an angle and then drops down like the RAM. Let me show you the RAM actually. We're going to pull these two tabs to the side here. Okay, it's easier to do it with two hands, but there we go. And then it pops up, and then you can pull this out. And this is PC4 3200AA. You should be okay with any PC4 3200AA RAM. There's an 8 gig stick. If you want, you can put two 16 gig sticks. So right now, I'm pretty sure they have two 8 gigs. You have a speaker connector here. You can, usually I'll grab the white thing by the wings and I'll just wiggle it and pull it out. There's that speaker, there's a wire, most likely, yep, you can see that black and red wire running along underneath the motherboard to this speaker over here. Okay, you got the wireless card here. The antennas are underneath this adhesive, but you would go from the tail and pull that up. If you're not sure how to remove them, you can watch my other videos. I take a lot of these apart, and you should be able to see one where I actually remove the antennas. Usually I don't do it unless I need to, because sometimes the antenna soldering is not good and those connectors can pop off if it's not soldered right. There's the DC jack charge port connector here. Same thing, the wings, you grab and wiggle, and then you can pull it out. You would thread it through out from here. And then to replace the charge port, you actually need to undo these screws here and then lift the hinge up. The other way is you can open the laptop slightly, undo the screws, and then slowly lower this down. Just make sure this doesn't hit the plastic up here. You don't want it to damage that, but once you lift it up enough, you can get this and just pull that out. USB port, SD card slot are on their own separate board. You can see the flat ribbon cable going here and under to here. This also has a flip latch like the hard drive. There's another flip latch connector here. It says FP, so some models I guess have a fingerprint reader. Okay, and then you got the touchpad or trackpad cable here. There's a flip latch there. This one is most likely for a keyboard backlight, but this model doesn't have the keyboard backlight, so this also flips up like that. You got the keyboard connector, same thing, big latch to flip up. Be careful that you don't put all the force on one side. You want to go kind of towards the middle. I've seen some people break this little latch in half. Okay, I think that's all to go about in there, so let's actually put the SSD now. All right, so we got this bracket. You kind of just fold it open like this, okay? And you can see this has little rubber nubs that are holding it in place, so it's very easy to replace this. You don't have to worry about screws. Okay, so I'm gonna just slot the little nubs back into the screw holes on this one, and then once you do that, you can get this side, and then you kind of just swing this over, and the rubber nubs will go in there as well. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and get this back in. I guess there's no specific side you need to start from, so you can just kind of push it straight down. All right. Make sure that latch is up for the hard drive cable connector. Again, be careful, these cables are fragile. It helps to kind of help to grab this blue tab here, and then you can use that. Let me see if I can zoom in a bit more. You can use that to get that into place. Okay, so grab that and then line that up and then push that in. All right, so there we go. Now that you got that in, you just slide your finger over the top to latch it down, and you should be good to go. Let's go ahead and zoom back out, put the bottom cover back on, get the screws back in, and we should have a much faster computer now. All right, so the customer is like brought it was taking forever to boot up. With an SSD, it should be a lot faster. One way you can kind of check if your computer's hard drive is going slow or having issues is you can press Control Shift Escape on the left side, all the 3 keys going up like that. And then what you do from there, it'll open the task manager, and you can see like the hard drive activity. If it's showing like it's at 100% all the time, that means the hard drive is definitely having some issues. All right, anyways, we're gonna push all these clips back in, and then we'll just get it back together. I'm kind of pushing down and inwards at the same time. Although once we get the screws in, we'll flip it over and then double check, make sure everything is nice and tight. All right, the black screws go under here. Again, if you didn't keep all the screws in order, I don't remember if I mentioned it in this video, but you usually want to keep all the screws in order because they are different size, shape, and lengths, right? And if you mix them up, you can actually damage your computer. So we got the other black one also under here. We'll get that in. All right, and we'll just get all the rest of the screws powered up, and we should be good to go. If you disconnected the battery, keep in mind the battery does act as the CMOS, BIOS, RTC, real-time clock battery. So once you do that, when you put the battery back in and power it on, it's usually going to take a very long time to start up, and then it's going to tell you that the BIOS or CMOS was reset. So just tell it to continue. Make sure you set the date and time correctly again. If for some reason it's not booting up and giving like some issue not finding boot device, you might want to double check your boot settings. Sometimes it will change from RAID to HCI or SATA, or vice versa. It might change to RAID when it was supposed to be in SATA or HCI. Okay, and then sometimes there's some settings that also might be messed up where it's changing, like Intel VMD is on or off, can cause some problems. Also double check if secure boot is on or off. Usually from factory the secure boot is on. I cloned this drive over to do that. I had to boot my USB, so I actually turned secure boot off. So we do need to turn secure boot back on for this device. But other than that, yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, again, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. All right, if you can't help out that way, again, it would help a lot if you could watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those as well. All right, we're gonna flip this back over. We're gonna power this up. To get to the BIOS, you press F10. So there's some secret keys here. If you press escape, it'll actually show you all the options. But F9 is to go to the boot menu. F11 is to go to recovery options, but that only works with the original install. And then F10 goes to the BIOS. So we're gonna power this thing up, and we're gonna be pressing F10 to go to the BIOS. It should start up pretty quick, yep, because we didn't reset the BIOS by pulling the battery out. So I'm gonna go over to boot options, and then we're gonna go down here to secure boot. Oops, I don't think you can even see that. Secure boot, and we're gonna just re-enable that because I did disable it to do my other thing. All right, so anyways, we're gonna save changes and exit, and this computer should boot relatively quick now. It has an SSD. Before it would take forever. One other thing I recommend after making any big hardware changes, I highly recommend restarting the computer one time. Not just turning it on or not just shutting it down and turning it on. You want to actually click in the bottom corner and then push restart. All right, so that's pretty much it. You can see it's booting. Yeah, thanks for watching again, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm going to restart it one time, but that's pretty much it. Yeah, that booted way faster. Is this touchscreen? I think the customer said it's not, but it is touchscreen. All right, so we'll restart it and we should be good to go. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Let's drop this. Bye.